Like,
thank you, bro.
hey, but there was something funny, dude. I wrote it down. Oh, how come you can't say pattern, nigga?
Oh, wait a minute. How what? Wait a minute. How come I can't say pattern?
You just did it again.
What'd I say?
You said pattern.
Pattern instead of pattern?
Yeah. It's pattern, dude.
Wait, say it?
Pattern.
Pattern.
Yeah, you just said it again. Pattern.
Did I say it right this time?
No, you said pattern, dude.
Listen,
I was listening to your video and you're like, da-da-da-da, pattern. And I was like, wait, what? And you said it again, pattern. You know, these patterns and that thing and blah, 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 patterns. And I was like, how come this dude can't say pattern?
I'm not going to cover up nothing about my speech. I'm so fucking open. All right, here's a few things I think about my speech. I think the more I smoke weed, the dumber I sound. Okay? And I smoke a fucking lot of weed. Second of all, I see words the way they're spelled sometimes in my head, like Hal Putoff. I can't say Hal Putoff. I always say it the way it's fucking spelled sometimes because I read it before I ever heard somebody say it. So a lot of things I read before I actually heard somebody say them. So I say it the way at least I see it. And here's my biggest one. I think that you take a group of Africans, bring them to America, and let Southern white folks teach them English, and we're fucked from then on. So I think a lot of people, when you say, oh, blacks talk like, or, you know, blacks talk like this, you take a group of Africans, bring us to the fucking Americas, and let a group of white Southerners teach us English, we've been fucked ever since. So, yeah, I still don't see the mistake in it. I'm sure there's a mistake.
But no, I was laughing because didn't you say some dude listened to your shit and thought you were a white guy?
Oh, man, when they be saying this dumbass hillbilly or whatever, I'll be saying, shit, I do not hear it.
I just thought that was hilarious because you told me that. So whenever I listen to your videos, I think, does somebody know if he's black or not? And then that was the first time I listened to it. And I was like, oh, for sure I'm listening to a black dude, you know?
Wait a minute.
And I always make comments on your videos like I don't know you. So I was going to get on there and be like, this dude can't say pattern, dude. Yeah. But I didn't want to fucking diss you.
Hold on, say it.
Pattern. Say it again?
Pattern.
Yeah, well, now you said it right.
I just you.
Yeah.
And it sounded better because I used the white voice. Pattern.
Yeah.
Yes, pattern.
Pattern. See, you said it wrong again.
Voice, but if I mock a white man, yeah, pattern.
But yeah, I don't know, man. It's
this
hilarious.
This is the real shit we hope to bring y'all. This is real life.
But yeah, back to Tom DeLonge to long root that shit. Do you think he's hurting the UFO fucking shit or he's helping, dude?
He's helping. If you go back, look at a timeline, see when his first book was printed, and then look what came out after that. I'm sure there's lots of good people involved in this. Tom DeLonge is not the all-star. If you go back, we're finna find out how many of these people was right. Linda Moulton Howe, Stanton Friedman, George Knapp. We're going to find out how many of them are right soon. We're finding out now because what we're getting now is confirmation. We're getting confirmation that, yeah, they are UFOs. They're not, you can't attribute them to no known government. No known government. If they're a breakaway civilization or a secret group or aliens or inner earthens or whatever, another break-off group, Denisovans, Homo sapien sapien, maybe they were Homo sapien 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 and took off, who knows? But we're getting confirmation now that UFOs are real. And yeah, he's a part of that. He gave these fools a vehicle to put their shit out. And along with, what's the name? The DOD and all these people releasing videos through his little To the Stars media, I'm sure they could have picked anybody to do it. But somehow it worked out for him and he provided them a platform. And like I'll always say, people that be like, Hillary should go to jail, those emails, don't read all of them. Look how many times Tom DeLonge's name was brought in UFOs. Look at what the Vatican's astronomy people from Arizona, the Jesuits telescope people, look at what they were asking. A specific question, too specific to be random. They wanted to know more about the aliens that border our contiguous universe. Who fucking makes that up? Who makes that shit up? And I know people make up a lot of shit, but I mean, those emails were discovered within our WikiLeaks emails. So we believe all the other
And Tom DeLonge's name was all through those?
His name was in there a lot.
Who, in what context, man?
In context, in go-to meetings with generals, in conversations with John Podesta, in conversations with...
Isn't that dude a piece of shit?
Who, John Podesta?
Yeah, isn't he a child fucking...
Oh, they said he...
Sexual predator or some shit?
They tried to involve him in that Pizzagate stuff. I'm not saying he is or he isn't, or wasn't, but yeah, him and his brother's name were brought up in that Pizzagate stuff. But I mean, at the time he was running Obama's campaign, You know, it was just.
Wait, he was running Obama's campaign?
He was Obama's campaign manager, John Podesta. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure at that time when he was involved. And then General McCaskill with all kind of people. Tom DeLonge was names with go-to meetings and just all kind of shit. His name was just all up in there.
Do any of his books explain how he got into all that shit?
Doesn't really explain how he gets.
Because well, from what you said, there's facts in them, but it's written like fiction, right?
Yes.
But like everything you were telling me is all this shit we've been fucking with, though, and like he drops little breadcrumbs throughout his books.
Hearings, there were congressmen involved.
See, that's why I love talking to you, so I don't have to read them, because I'm not fucking.
That's exactly why I make the video.
I don't have patience, dude.
I know that reading is people not into reading books. I'm not. Listen, I'm no better. Look, I can't even say pattern as this motherfucker said. So
I just noticed that today, dude.
Because I read books is just something I'm into, and something I do is just one of my shits.
But you retain that shit so. You're exactly like my brother Zach. I call him an elephant, man, because he never forgets anything, dude.
It's just happened to be my shit. I don't know. I don't know. I like to read.
But I will say that, like, if it's something I fuck with hard, I'll remember it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it says, it may not be true about all things. Everything, lots and lots of things you learn in life, you will forget, but remember in a time of needing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
For real. Just like some shit, going out to the fucking, I ain't fucked around on drywall crews or none of that shit in years. But as I'm looking up, I look at my bathroom. Oh, that shit need to be tape cocked and blah, blah, blah. What the fuck I'm talking about? But I remember the shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
I can't go up and do it, but I can look and see exactly what needs to be done. I never did that shit. I used to work on the crews and scrap for them dudes. But, I've never knew it, forgot it, but when I see it happening, like, oh yeah, you do remember the time of need.
So you would say that dude Tom DeLonge's getting his information from very credible sources, then?
Yes, he has to.
And that he's getting a bad rap, would you say?
Huh?
Is he getting a bad rap, you think? Just because he was from a fucking punk band?
But some of the shit is just due, because like listen. If I was to fucking just cut the volume off, he looked at weird on the Joe Rogan show. He looked at,
See, that's what I'll say. Me and you talked about this. Like, he seemed too nervous, dude. I think where he fucked up, man, was like he kept saying, there's these videos, but I can't show them to you. There's this, but I can't show it to you, you know?
Well, see, what I like is that one of the videos came out that we got a chance to talk to the Commander David Favor, a.k.a. codename Sex. We got the... hear his interviews. Remember,
that's the one we watched at the house, right?
There you go, the Fighter Pilot podcast. So here's one fighter pilot talking to another fighter pilot. I have no reason to bullshit you. Not only that, we used to be stationed on the same ship together. So why am I going to bullshit you? And when you have a fighter pilot saying, damn, I wish I could have flew it. Shit, you got me.
Right.
You got me. And him saying, that they spend millions of dollars investing in our training. So if it was something that I known or the type of propulsion it was using, I could call it out. And I can't. And if you ask me, can't attribute it to no known government here. It's a lot of them saying it, and we're going to find out as we're coming on that Project Blue Book TV show. All this shit.
What's Project Blue Book?
It's a good TV show on History Channel, but it's not historically accurate. But if you listen to the vocabulary and some of the things they're dropping, they're telling you some truths. There's vocabulary that's going to be very important to this UFO shit, like the word antenna. And those are people who can kind of sense shit, maybe psychic.
Precogs and shit?
Kind of like that, but maybe can sense when a UFO is around, or the UFOs can sense them and it's in their blood. There's a program being ran by, please let me remember his name. What's the guy that made Nolan. Gary Nolan. That's his name, I believe. And he's a biologist. I believe it's Gary Nolan. He's maybe running a program where they're looking into the blood of people, and they say that everything that's ever happened to you, cold, a beating, car accident, they can look at your DNA and see traumatic events and shit like that. So they can't lie.
Through your blood?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yes, and then like I remember Joe Rogan was talking about one time that people that are getting beat in the ring is physically changing their DNA, and it made me think about slaves. Like, damn. Them niggas' DNA got changed like a motherfucker. If physical beatings.
Well, I know he talked about they were doing tests on mice and spraying like a pear blossom scent, and then they would shock the mice's feet, right? And then the mice had babies, and they didn't shock them. They just sprayed the pear blossom shit, and you saw the mice just freaking the fuck out, and that was how they knew like that shit got passed down through their genetics to be afraid of that scent. which is what I think, you know, I mean, you talk about the boogeyman and all these weird things, snakes, spiders. I think that's passed through our DNA. That fucking, those are things that used to kill us back in the day. You know what I mean?
That's how you can separate 3 triplets at birth and they still all 3 do the same thing. That's how a guy who never met his fucking father can act like him, walk like him, talk like him, drink like him, and his mother says, I can't stand you, you're just like your father. And because those are things that are inherited in your DNA. Cellular memory. Same thing that happens with kidney and liver transplant patients. Oh, all of a sudden I drink beer like hockey. Well, that's what he used to like, the person that you got your organ from.
Bro, I know. Do you know anybody that's like that? My cousin didn't have his dad around at all, and he ended up just like him. I have a friend. His dad raised him since he was like 2, and he goes, I don't know what the fuck, man. Like, I raised him this whole time, and he acts exactly like his fucking dad that passed away, like alcohol and all these things, dude. And he's like, yeah, dude, I raised him, but he's exactly like his fucking dad. So there has to be something to that, man.
See that triplet movie, man.
Yeah, you were telling me. What's it called?
You gotta see that 3 Accidental Strangers.
Do they end up being shady at the end or anything?
It's fucking dope. Well, listen.
Because I watched the 2020 thing last night. You remember back in the day that kid named Steven? This dude kidnapped this kid somewhere up north. I don't know why. I remember watching the TV movie when I was a fucking kid, and it was called I Know My Name Is Steven.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, you remember that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so check this shit out. So he had an older brother, right? And I was watching this 2020 shit. Honestly, what was I? Oh, it was on the BTK killer's fucking daughter first, and then you know Hulu just keeps playing videos. So this came on after, and I couldn't sleep, and I was kind of listening to it. I ended up watching the whole fucking thing. It started off with that kid Steven. He gets kidnapped. It was from Northern California. I guess this dude held him hostage for like 7 years, and then he told him your parent. He kidnapped the kid, and the kid trusted fucking adult figures so much. He goes to the phone, acted like he called the kid's parents and said, your parents don't want you anymore. I'm going to adopt you. You're coming with me. And he just took it on fact that he trusted adults so much that he thought his parents didn't want him. And he went and lived with this dude, and this dude sexually molested him and all this shit. But he raised him till he's like a fucking teenager, right?
Yes.
Long story short, he got too old for the dude's fucking weird fix, and the dude wanted to go get another kid. So he kidnaps this little kid, and within like a week, that dude Steven was like, he was going by Dennis now. The dude told him, your name's Dennis now. And the only thing he remembered about his past was that he had a family fucking somewhere else in Southern California, and that his name was Steven. Well, he looked at this kid, and he's like, I'm not going to let this kid get sexually molested, and I'm not going to fucking let him go through what I did about missing his family and shit. And he fucking took the kid when that dude went to work one night, hitchhiked, and fucking went to the police station, and all he could tell them was, I know my name is Steven, dude. Like, this kid got kidnapped, and I know my name is Steven. And long story short, it ended up being that dude Steven came home, and he was this huge fucking, you know, star. It was like a fucking TV movie. They ended up making a TV movie, actually, but this was like, you couldn't even write this shit. Yeah. The kid was still alive, saves another fucking kid, so he becomes this huge thing for a while. And fucking that kid's brother was fucked up when he lost his brother, you know, like it really fucked with him. His whole family changed. You know, the parents were real distant after that, and he felt some kind of fucking little way about that he wasn't there for his younger brother, you know? So it fucked him up emotionally too. Well, long story short, he ends up fucking, that kid Steven died in a motorcycle crash when he was like 24 after that. Yeah. Just had like a hard life, dude. And his brother got older, and he was like socially awkward and all this weird shit. Kind of fucking pulled his dick out in front of his sister's friends. Like started this weird, he couldn't function around women really well, right? So he becomes like a maintenance man up north by Yosemite. And fucking one night, dude, he just fucking, I guess he was telling these people like in advance, like, I have these fucked up thoughts about hurting people, and like they were like, well, we need to get you help and shit. And I believe he tried, but he didn't really stick to it. Long story short, one night he just goes in these girls' room, and he was the maintenance man at like a hotel or something up there, and tells them, I gotta fix your fucking lamp. And they were like, nah, we're not going in there. Oh, a leak, sorry, not a lamp. And he took one of the girls in the fucking bathroom, beats her up, ties all the girls up. Anyways, long story short, takes them, like fucking tortures them, burns 2 of them inside of a car.
Steven's brother.
Yes, Steven's brother, dude. Fucking So not only was that family famous for that, this dude like topped all that shit by being a fucking psycho, dude, and fucking goes out and fucking kills these 3 girls and got away with it, dude. They like blame